Ready. Is everybody else ready?
Mm-hmm.
Am I ready? All right.
No leave until you sign things then.
All right.
Okay. Everybody.
3, 2, 1. All right. Ready. Go. All right. Call to order. Roll call.
Mr. Lamar.
Present.
Mr. Kubicki.
Present.
Ms. Hughes.
Present.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve and sign the meeting minutes from June 8, 2021. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Lamar.
Yes.
Mr. Kubicki.
Yes.
Ms. Hughes.
Yes.
Okay. I make a motion we sign the meeting minutes of June 11, 2021. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Lamar.
Yes.
Mr. Kubicki.
Yes.
Ms. Hughes.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody for open forum? With anybody that's got any questions for open forum?
I don't have anything emailed and
Nothing on the sign-in sheet?
Nothing's
No
there.
emails?
Okay. We go on to reports. Fiscal office report. Ms. Heekin.
Thank you. June reports is the halfway point of the budget year. Our general fund ending balance, I'm sorry, I probably need to do that. General fund ending balance is $3,068,609, which is a decrease of 4% from May. Restricted fund ending balance is $5,334,620, which is a decrease of 4% from May. Combined, these funds total $8,403,229, which is a decrease of 4% from May. For the month of June, revenues were $36,420, expenses were $368,272. Year-to-date revenues, $3,362,274, expenses $2,311,242. The second half revenue settlement from the Hamilton County Auditor will occur in September. Voter-approved levy revenues do not fully cover the cost of public services to residents. JETZ business revenues supplement the cost of services that exceed our property tax revenues. And thanks to Columbia Township's success in attracting and supporting businesses, we're able to continue to provide residents with exceptional services at a lower cost.
Thank you. Any questions about the report?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Great news. Okay, now we move on to the road superintendent's report. Anybody got any questions about Mr. Savisi's road superintendent report? Then we go on to the always good, always thorough, always detailed administrative report.
Entertaining?
With Ms. Taylor.
On the cover of the administrator's report is a picture of the crews responding to recent fallen trees after a strong summer storm. The crews are extremely busy this time of year. I know everyone realizes they're very busy during snow and ice season, but this is equally, if not more, of a busy time of season. I wanted to remind everyone that our crew comes to work every day to provide the exceptional services that our residents and businesses know that we do, can count on us to do exceptionally, and that they love. And our current services are right-of-way mowing, twice a month, monthly brush pickup, trash collection in the business districts and our park, and then before and after storms, the crews check and clear all street catch basins of debris, and then afterwards remove debris from any township right-of-way. Starting just high level at the state and the county, the state has announced $155 million in Ohio grants to small and medium businesses. I'm going to leave this piece for our economic development representative Dustin Montgomery to cover in his report, his quarterly report. Hamilton County Commissioners established with funding from the U.S. Treasury for pandemic relief, the 513relief.org website, where residents and businesses can go for financial and other assistance. If you need funds for rent assistance, utility assistance, food, job placement, or small businesses need grants, you can go to the 513relief.org or call the Hamilton County Board of Commissioners main number, 513-946-4400. It's a really great website. They set it up with ease of use in mind, and I am impressed with what they did. We have had chronic problems with door-to-door solicitors posing as gas and electric reps. The Public Utilities Commission of Ohio recognizes that door-to-door soliciting by individuals that are trying to take residents, convince residents to come off of an aggregation program and come on to their provider's program, that those problems are increasing. And then during the pandemic, due to the concern about the spread of the virus, PUCO blocked the door-to-door sales. And so I believe that that has been lifted because the sales have started again, and it's more sales, it is lies. The residents are being told that there's a problem with their Duke Energy account or their aggregation account, or they're representing that they're with our aggregation provider and telling them that they need to sign some paperwork to clear that up. So we have been telling residents, as they call us, that these are unauthorized solicitors, which is a violation of our policy, and that they should call the non-emergency dispatch, Hamilton County non-emergency dispatch, and to immediately, as soon as the rep, basically they close the door, and we would recommend do not engage with them, and call the police and or call the township. And our energy services provider will never call you, will never come to your door. You are part of a aggregation program in Columbia Township that is professionally run, and we do not do door-to-door marketing. You will only ever be contacted in writing, and the letter will include the logo of the energy company that is our provider, whether it's an electric provider or a gas provider, next to Columbia Township's logo. So if someone at your door cannot provide a document that has Columbia Township's logo, that you then call us and verify, they are basically lying to you. And so we encourage you to help shut them down. On the subject of energy aggregation, we do have a new electric provider for 2 years, effective in August, so next month. Dynegy is the name of the company. It's a 2-year contract, and a letter was sent out with Columbia Township logo on it to all households in Columbia Township and the other 7 communities that are part of our aggregation pool. And it offers 2 options. One, this time, 100% green energy option, solar backed. It costs a little more, but it is a solar option, or you can not do anything and you will be automatically enrolled in our discounted electric program. And then, of course, Ohio law requires that we give all residents the option to opt out of any aggregation program, which will require you to secure gas and electric contracts with providers directly on your own. The Madison Place Firehouse update, we still have a tentative fall opening. We have schedule impacts as a result of materials on back order, contractor, employee shortages, and now we are experiencing, the good news is that we have more than $500,000 in grants in the project. The bad news is that the grant agencies are so short-staffed as a result of the pandemic. A number of them have not yet brought all of their staff back at the state and don't plan to do so until after the end of the summer. And so there's a backlog for reviewing our materials for the firehouse to allow us to proceed to construction. And so, however, there are good things still happening over this coming month. Our residents and businesses will see that we are going to be continuing with utility relocations before and other upgrades, and then we are going to resurface Murray Avenue East. We had a resident call this morning and say, just checking to see when Murray Avenue might be repaired. And we asked, what section do you live in? And the person said, oh, the one near the firehouse. And we said, look for it within 30 days. So that was a great, and they said, are you really? Thank you so much. So that was a well-timed call. Murray Path Extension, yay, opens this week. I'm sure you're going to address that, so I won't go there.
Let's talk about it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they have paved Murray Path, and they're installing all of the directional signage as well as no parking signage on each side of the berm, and then next week they will pull the construction cones.
Let's hope so. There's been delays because of the weather.
The weather's
The weather's
rain.
been miserable, so it should be open next week, and residents there hopefully will get to enjoy the bike path and the lack of construction and noise. And as a reminder, it'll be the fall before they do any of the landscaping, which will be fantastic when it's done. It's going to be one of the best, most beautiful bike paths in the county and beyond. They're going to trim it before then. It doesn't look great right now, but it will soon, and this fall will look amazing.
Thanks
It's
for the
really
update.
exciting.
Appreciate that.
Really nice to see every time we drive by, there's something new there.
And again, it's amazing to be partnered with Marymount on this. They're so transparent with information, and it's just been a great partnership, in my opinion, to partner with them on this bike path. And well, it's not a bike path, but it's a multi-use path.
Multi-use path. Yeah, they've really been
awesome.
And, you know,
terrific.
to go on that is, I'm thrilled to hear that, thrilled to see that, and it took a lot of hard work from a lot of people, from the past administration to Melissa,
Yep.
Brian, Susan, everybody here. So I'm glad we're working so closely together. I really do enjoy that. So, and they've been great to work with.
Yeah.
We continue to have some great projects on our plate that we can want to continue to work with them, and events and
Yeah.
other things. And
Yes.
we want to eventually see these communities kind of blend closer together, because we're
Absolutely.
right on the border of each other, and a lot of the parts of Columbia Township down where I live kind of share the same school district and everything
Yep.
else, and our Marymount Kroger's, Marymount Promenade, you know, and so it is closely tied to it.
Absolutely.
And we don't apologize for that, so.
Well, we know where the jurisdictional lines are for services, but other
people
people
don't.
don't.
Yeah.
They have no idea.
And Chief Hines and the Hamilton County Sheriff have a great working relationship together, and so I just think it all works, and it's gotten just so much better, the lines of communications, et cetera. And the new mayor, it's been dynamite. Long time coming. Love it.
Absolutely. So the Hillendale full reconstruction, including drainage and curbs, is completed. And I wanted to remind everybody that Columbia invested $1,600,000 in this complete street reconstruction. And under former Administrator Mike Lemon had won a 50% grant from Ohio Public Works Commission. So our net out of pocket is $800,000, which will be paid off over 30 years on a zero interest loan.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes, thank you, Mike. 0.00% interest loan. And just as a quick factoid, our road and bridge levy generates only a little over $600,000 a year. So here's an example of one road that exceeds our entire annual revenue for road improvements, but we are grant hounds. And so we continue to apply and secure and then move roads forward. And then next time I'll talk about the next two roads that are up in Madison Place for
And when you say we're
improvement.
grant hounds, a little kudos to Melissa here, this is her economic development background, where she focuses on, and her personality and sweetness at times and directness at times.
Attacking at others.
She knows where to get it, how to get it, and then how we call her the velvet steamroller, for anybody who hasn't heard me say it by now. But really, your ability to get these grants has really been tremendous, and I know it's just helpful to get you out to find new ways of going and doing things. So thank you.
I appreciate that, but as you said, grants are part knowledge and a significant part of relationships.
And trust.
And trust.
That you're going to get it done.
And that is becoming increasingly important as grantees default on their grants. Inability to deliver a project, or something happens with their funding and they end up not being able to provide the match after all. It does make grant agencies a little shaky, and so when they know and trust that we can deliver on a project, they actually come to us. We won the grants for the firehouse, a couple of the county programs that we applied to. Well, the new round opened, and they actually contacted us and said, will you bring a project forward? And I said, we're still delivering the one that we have, but we'll be back.
And maybe I'm kind of spinning this a little bit, but some of the podcasts, you obviously were a part of it with the new sheriff, Charmaine McGuffey. You go look at our meetings with Denise Driehaus to Bridget Kelly. I think in the events we throw, all those are part of a mix that, some of the programs we did with the restaurants that were respected by a lot of people. We were the first. I think Columbia Township's got a great reputation of people kind of look and sit down at the table and go, I like what they do. Their businesses respond to them. People like them. They are dynamic, open-minded, they're doing cutting-edge things. I think it's contagious that people go look at us and go, they've got it together. And I think that came across even yesterday when we did the podcast with, the sheriff and her lieutenants and assistants. I think they walked out of there going, 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
I like these guys. And that is contagious, and that's really helpful. So kudos to everybody involved that's embraced this new culture we're trying to build, the new communications. All these events have other consequences that are positive that make everybody from Marymount seeing us throwing these tribute parties to whatever we're doing. I think everybody looks and goes, I like these guys. They got it together. So there's other things I only like to just kind of tell everybody. There's a lot of other derivatives that come from it. So thank you for everybody involved. And it's again a thank you. When we did that Margaritaville party, it was more professional, more polished than it's ever been. It's gotten better and better and better. So we put a new shine and a new image to Columbia Township, and I'm proud of it. So thank you.
Well, the quote-unquote real Jimmy Buffett is at Riverbend
tonight.
tonight. But we already threw the party. Sorry.
Sorry, Jimmy.
Anticlimactic.
And this guy's younger. No, just kidding.
I'd love to add, it's not just getting the grants. I am fortunately a recipient of a new road because of the grants of Columbia Township. And Rose Street in Madison Place is a new road. And getting the grants themselves is a lot of work by Melissa and the team here. But also you have to partner with other government entities to do that. My street, they had to work with the city of Cincinnati because part of my street is in the city. The same thing will likely happen next year with additional grants that we have to partner with other government entities. And you can imagine how easy that is to work with timing and other teams and government people and agencies. So I'm so happy to be part of a team that can just leverage this money and grants consistently over and over again, because we would not have the funds to do this.
So I didn't mean to go off this, but it's nice to kind of explain to everybody what does all this mean.
Yeah.
And that's why I only went off on this. So go ahead.
We have a professional United board and we have professional United staff, and so you can actually get down to business.
Yeah.
Keep your nose
Yep.
down. So we have, to wrap up our parks, paths, and roads, we have 5 road and pedestrian safety studies underway. I'll just hit on a couple. We have speed studies that are underway, and we already have had residents calling about seeing cables on some of the targeted roads. So we have targeted high-speed areas that we identified and worked with Lieutenant Enderle's office on high ticket areas. So we're looking at data not only from the TEC Engineering, which engineering company is conducting the speed study, so they're putting cables on the targeted roads. Over the course of the summer, they'll move the cables around, so cables coming to a street near you potentially. And then also looking at data from traffic citations, and then also we will be looking at areas identified as frequently rolled stop signs. And so it was interesting, Sheriff McGuffey, when I think David in one of his questions posed in terms of the technology, we're doing this study because we understand from our engineering expert advisors that the radar speed signs, the driver feedback signs, and other types of signs are effective in helping reduce speeding and reduce traffic stop sign rolling. And what was her perspective on it? And she said that it is very helpful. It's definitely worth, if anyone listening or watching has not seen the podcast, definitely for the entirety of the podcast, but for this specific piece, because so many people are concerned. Our residents call us regularly about the speed on my street has increased, and people do not stop. They blow through or roll stop signs. And some of it is having adjusted to a quieter environment during the pandemic, and it's actually just starting to come back up to normal, but it feels like it's not normal. And the other part of it is that, and this was interesting that Sheriff Duffy said, that the driver distraction is increasing. You know, people are in the work mindset trying to get to work or trying to get home or something like that, and that having something that flashes and gets their attention is very helpful, other than a flat, one-dimensional sign that they're used to seeing and we're all desensitized to. So that was interesting.
Even as I look at the perspective of my neighborhood, if you have a neighbor out there that sees that, oh, you're going fast, it's one thing, but to actually say, no, you were going 35 and a 25, I mean, it's clearly identifiable. It is a little bit of a self-policing. And the other thing too is I know when we first put those speed signs up, we kind of thought, let's try this. Let's not go to the speed hump because the controversies and the drama with that and all this. So we did do the this, and we always said back then, and it was under obviously Mike Lemon's administration, that if it works, let's try it. If it doesn't work, it's not a monumental investment, although they're not cheap. But I think it is working. So the question I've got is challenging this team. Susan, certainly in part of your neighborhood, Caroline in your neighborhood, Brian, is to where else would we put them? In other words, we got them going one way, do we have them going the other way, and do we not just go take advantage and go use?
And that's
some
in
of
the study.
Okay.
We provided all that content in the study. We identified, I
Okay.
think, 10 streets plus areas where the stop signs are being rolled frequently. And then also asked them to look at if one is already installed, if a radar speed sign is already installed on one side for one direction, is it also merited on the other, for example, row?
Yeah.
But I guess let's set a goal that over the next year that we go ahead and install some more of those speed signs in high traffic areas that I'm sure a lot of you guys probably can guess which ones they are, but certainly the engineering and the traffic studies will document
Right.
that.
They expect to have the speed counts completed by the end of August. They're out there already, as I said. And then they're going to provide recommendations to us for all locations for the flashing radar signs, as well as for the signs for rolling stop signs.
And it's getting interesting because part of even the dynamic where you put those speed signs is who wants them in front of their yard. So there's another part of it is
Yeah.
where do they belong? In other
Yes.
words, within reason. All right,
Yeah.
you want it here, but it's going to go maybe a little bit down the street, an eighth of a mile,
Right.
because in between a vacant lot or a neighborhood that's, or a part of your yard that's treed or whatever, because some people are just going to think you're not going to go put this right in front of my my
Right.
maple tree. I mean, it's just doesn't look good. So there's a little bit of that dynamic.
And I appreciate that, and that's a really good point. I think when we have the recommendation back, we'll bring it to the trustees for discussion and then go out to the different neighborhoods. I know that John Cervisi has told me that before they have put up signs of any type in the past, that they'll check with the neighbors. And if there's any concern, they'll try to move it to a property line or to a wooded
Or
area.
an abandoned house or vacant. Just kidding.
We're making sure with property code that
I'm
those,
kidding.
we're getting rid of
Kidding.
those.
All right.
All right, so one other mention is that we had requested safety lighting be added on US 50 to the crosswalk in front of 50 West that connects the north side of Worcester to the south side, and all of our neighborhoods to the north as well, to the businesses on the south. And Duke installed those just a few weeks ago. So the crosswalk actually has now safety lighting on Duke poles. So the flashers are effective in catching driver attention that there's something going on, but the lights now illuminate actually that there are people in the crosswalk, which was not the case before.
Can I ask a quick question? Do you happen to know the timing of the Plainville Road Grace changes? Are we dependent upon the county to do that since it's a county road?
So that is the Plainville Road, so there's a Plainville Road study. It's both, we asked if we could lower the speed.
Yep.
And they're looking at that. That speed study is underway, if not completed. And then we asked to upgrade the crosswalk
Yes,
with
that part.
flashers. So the crosswalk is approved, and we are, the flashers are on back order as a result of the pandemic.
Okay.
So we're just waiting for them to come in. So we have that budgeted, and the county has approved that, and then we're waiting for, the speed study goes also through ODOT.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So, okay, closing my report, we love our businesses. So we open with, we love our staff, and we close with, we love our businesses, because they're both so important. Our second and final, we hope, pandemic stimulus has ended July 1st with our Show Some More Love Columbia Township that we launched Valentine's Day weekend, which seems like it was a year ago. And we had several thousand gift cards that were handed out, $25 gift cards to residents. And some residents received 2. And some lucky attendees at Margaritaville received lots. We had gift card distributors working the crowd, and people were really excited to get them. And so that has ended, and we are pleased at how all of the restaurants have said that it's been such a great way for the township to show that we matter to them. and also to drive new business to them, and reminding you over the course of both of the programs, the initiatives that we did, the one in April, May of 2020, and then this past year, the restaurants told us that, and residents told us, we went to restaurants that we had never tried, and we liked them. And then the restaurants told us that they had people who had not come due to the pandemic, had just stayed away, were cooking at home, but because we gave them a very nice cash incentive, $25 or $50, they stepped out of their house and went back, and glad that they did, and then made it a habit of getting carry out or whatever during the pandemic. So it was a really interesting it was almost a triangle with the township in the middle, the residents and the businesses all sharing what a great experience this is. So I appreciate, again, the board's leadership in being the first out of the gate with the 2020 pandemic stimulus, and a great way to engage with our residents to not just give money to businesses through a grant, even though that was the value of the program and what was authorized under CARES by the U.S. Treasury to help them with that, but also engaging the residents to take it and make it tenfold, 100-fold. So, and to close under We Love Our Businesses, the new Maserati Alfa Romeo building at Porsche of the Village is completed, and then now the Woostie team is shifting to completely renovate the existing building for both Volvo and for Porsche, which will continue through the end of the summer.
And I think the building and the landscaping look great, too.
Really nice,
Yes, I think
nice photo. And Dustin has a photograph in his economic development report, which I pirated for the administrative report. Dustin took that photograph, and it is professional.
And if I could, I'm going to maybe switch up the order, go into trustees' reports that are going to dovetail the administrators' reports, because I think it kind of segues in. So we're going to shift the order, go to the trustees' reports, because I'll just add this to what you said. A couple of things. One, we've got some, since COVID kind of finished up, and now we've got the ability, I call it the run and shoot offense, to go do some more things to connect the township, connect people together. We got a couple of things that we're coming up that we're excited about, that we're going to hopefully be announcing soon, that are in the works in terms of entertaining, bringing some things to Columbia Township to let it shine, let other people see what we're doing, and we're excited about that. We've got some hard hat parties. I know, Caroline, you had a hand in kind of coming up with that theme of showing what's going on in the firehouse. We'll be announcing those soon, so I at least want to just kind of tease that up rather than just surprising everybody. But they're on our radar. More events in Madison Place, Williams Meadow, Ridgewood, and really the whole entire community. And we got a really exciting event we're working on, hopefully at 50 West, that we pull off, that will come off in August. And if it comes off, you'll be getting something there soon. That'll be a major event. We're hoping we're going to pull this off, and we'll hopefully be announcing that soon. And then the only other thing I would want to mention is I don't know how to go leverage this, but, we're hoping with some of the economic development responsibility, the medical marijuana, combined with some of the things from the past administration to the new administration, taking a leap of faith to go roll back taxes and reduce the levy through our waste levy, bringing taxes down. We need to go do some podcasts and some information sessions to inform the public of exactly what the waste levy means, why we're doing it, why we're rolling back taxes, which is incredible, and really go talk about it and educate them what it means, what they need to do, so that they're properly informed to do it. So I guess, Brian, I know you chair some of those podcasts, but let's put that on our radar. I'm thinking in September to do an information, and maybe bring in some guests to talk about it or whatever it is, to properly inform the public, because we obviously need our waste levies, but it's at a reduced tax rate, and really make sure everybody's fully up to speed on that, why we're reducing it, how we're reducing it, what it means, etc. So I only wanted to go through that in addition to the administrator's report.
I appreciate that.
And then let's go segue into trustees' reports. What else do you have to report in trustees' report?
Another report, I just wanted to mention Mary Path is closing soon, and to thank Marymont.
Closing soon.
Opening soon.
Opening soon.
The construction is closing soon.
That's what I thought you mentioned. Okay, Susan, you have anything to add?
I just wanted to thank you for patrolling Erling and Elmery. I see a difference already.
Okay.
And we got a lot of kids that nobody watches. And
Good.
we'd like to see the bikes up there too.
We're working on that.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll tell you what, we'll segue in and switch up the order again with Lieutenant Enderle, but as we said in our podcast, you guys do special things, and as Melissa mentioned in the podcast, I'm going to say this here, that she's reached out to you, and you've been fishing, and you tell the story. You reached out to him when he was fishing, and he was sitting in the lake on vacation, and he still responds to the call of duty.
Yeah. We complimented Major Ketteman and also Lieutenant Enderle, who's here with us today, to new Sheriff Charmaine McGuffey. She was talking about the availability of staff, the commitment of the service, that they are service-led, and that she's immediately available and her staff is immediately available to address whatever is needed 24/7. And I related a personal story that Lieutenant Enderle always answers my call or my text, no matter the time of day or the day, including when he's on vacation, and has told us he will be on vacation. He has answered the call when he was fishing and took care of something for us.
And I remarked that they should be wearing capes and suits. So we
Yeah.
do appreciate
Yeah.
that, and I only say this because we're going to continue to work to make sure everybody understands how local you guys are, and really, use that, because you guys do a great job, and I want to get more of our communities to get to know you guys better and that. So with that said, let's go to the police reports.
Well, I would just like to thank you for the very nice comments. Both the Major and I watched the podcast, and it was excellent.
We met.
And really, the comments were just very nice. We appreciate that. The only other thing I really have is you have the reports, but I want to bring your attention to the commendation that we have in there. A couple of officers and what they did on June 30th when we experienced those heavy rainstorms, and a couple vehicles that had flooded out and were trapped in some floodwaters. And the officers did a tremendous job wading into the floodwaters, getting people out of the cars. We've all seen stories, on TV where vehicles and people are washed away in floodwaters. So I just wanted to make sure that these guys were recognized for that. They did a heck of a job.
Appreciate that. And the flooding isn't unique to Columbia Township, so I know that's
everywhere.
gone all over the place.
And it's
so-
very dangerous and should be left to the professionals,
Yes.
wading into any type of floods.
Yes, I
flooding.
appreciate that, so thank you.
And
Thank you.
I've just happened to run into your team a couple times in my neighborhood, and they're just so professional and service-oriented and community-oriented, and it's amazing. And they see me walking around the neighborhood, they always check and say hi, and they do with a lot of people they know in the neighborhood. And so thank you to your team. I mean, we're fortunate to have them.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Thank you. And you guys need to hear more of that, don't you, really? It's nice to hear that in this day and age with everything.
Correct.
Getting
So-
you're over there.
All right, anything else to add? Any other questions? Okay, that we will move on to Dustin Montgomery, always an expert on economic development. He's going to tell us what's going on.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here, guys. The last quarter in economic development was continued the trend of positive news, I think, for Columbia Township, both in getting new businesses and also seeing some expansion of businesses that are already here. So there's a lot of good information in the report, but I'll just call attention to what I consider three of the highlights from the report. CBT, otherwise known as Cincinnati Belt and Transmission, before they changed their name to CBT, at Ridge and Highland. They're currently going to be planning an expansion to construct a 20,000 square foot addition. They've been very happy and pleased with the partnership between Columbia Township and them, and have found their location to be very valuable to their business growth.
Are there be additional new employees, do you know?
I did not know about additional, I don't believe there's a lot of new employees.
Okay, got it. Still great.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it furthers their commitment in
Absolutely.
Columbia Township.
Yeah.
And the county commissioners approved it this past month.
Okay.
Approved the expansion.
A new 27-unit luxury apartment community is coming to 4040 Walton Creek Road. A very nice welcome addition to the township for new housing. And retail spaces continue to fill up in the township, which is again a positive news that we've seen with kind of, yeah.
And I'm going to go back to the 4041 guys, and I only say this because I like to go back to, you say, love our businesses, Melissa, but one of the things they said that even made the papers is how much and how important 50 West and being next to what all those guys have done. So as we continue to watch, a really major flagship brand in our community go through these tough times and continue to compete with all the other brew pubs. They're a major flagship, and it's part of the reason why those guys came in and invested, is they wanted to be near that facility. That was in the Inquirer, and it's just duly noted. And I only say that as we continue to invest in these businesses, there's other reasons why it is so vitally important. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No,
Go on.
anytime, and it's a good point.
Yeah.
There's a lot of spillover from business
Yes.
expansion that happens and business retention, and business retention is a lot easier than attracting new businesses.
You got it.
So it's good to invest in your businesses that you have. The retail spaces are filling up, as I was saying, and Marymount Promenade is seeing 2 new spaces, or existing spaces filled with eye care on the square and Servati Pastry shop, which I'm really excited about. I think Servati's does a nice job. This last year, we got my daughter a cake from Servati's, and it was absolutely the best cake we've ever had.
I just changed my route to work.
That's exciting.
So those are the key points that I want to bring to your attention from the report.
Thank you.
I'd love to
Any
add,
questions?
Fleet Feet opened up, and I think that you went into the Fleet Feet. I came in about an hour after you did, David, and welcomed them to the community and at the 50 West location, so there's a lot going on there.
And as he mentions, Fleet Feet, just to that'd be right next to 50 West on their campus where the bikes are parked out in front. And Fleet Feet sells high-end gym shoes, whatever you want. They also sell bicycle out attire, Lululemon stuff. So it's a very high-end, very exciting, and whatever we can do to patronize them and help them promote them. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
They want to be involved in the community, too.
Yes, yes.
Good.
So that is an exciting addition, and I hope they thrive and succeed, because that really would send a good message to all the retailers on the Worcester Pike corridor. So thank you for
Thank you,
mentioning
Dustin.
Absolutely.
Great stuff.
I'm going to have Dustin stay with us because
Yeah.
we're going to do a joint presentation when we get to the resolution, so he'll
Okay.
just...
Okay. Thank you. All right, with that, we go onto I'm going to call just the overall fire district, Little Miami Fire District, and the end of the fire stuff by Mr. Lamar.
No real update. I would just ensure residents that fire safety is the utmost priority of the district and this trustee, this group, and so service will not be interrupted at all. You can promise the same great service you always get, so more to come later this year.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay, with that, we move on to communications. Any questions about the communications?
Just a couple quickies. You mentioned 50 West. 50 West was in the news again for being a kid-friendly brewery. And I want to say thank you to Lauren Allison, who did a beautiful post for Independence Day in front of our building here. She was able to capture on a gorgeous day with a blue sky the American flag, the state of Ohio flag, and the POW MIA flag in front of our memorial, and she posted that for July 4th entirely on her own, and so I really wanted to say thanks to her for that. And then also, we've mentioned, be sure to check out our podcast with Sheriff McGuffey, and we did a Facebook post about it as well, and then Ask post it, so hopefully you get some coverage on that.
Thank you. Okay, that we move on to resolutions. I'm going to pass it back over to Melissa since I get clumsy reading these.
All right. I think I might let you do. So we have 2 resolutions this evening. We're going to do a brief presentation on the first one, and the second one will be very short. I'm going to go ahead, so I don't forget, Ms. Heekin. I'm going to go ahead and do a first reading, and then we will talk about the program. Authorizing a neighborhood economic development program to promote and enhance economic development, quality of life, civic engagement, and property values, and authorizing financial assistance to the Community Improvement Corporation of Greater Cincinnati under Ohio Revised Code 505.701 to defray certain program expenses and dispensing with the second reading. In 2020, when this board hired me, one of the first conversations that we had was, now that we have become financially strong, as I always say, the house that we built of bricks, how do we start to give back more to the community and to the neighborhoods from the income that is coming in from our businesses. The first way that we do that is silent, we've been silent about, and I am trying to be more vocal about, is that our business income taxes subsidize all of our services. So police, roads and bridges, and the waste and recycling as well. So when the trustee board anticipated that in 2021 would be our first medical marijuana payment, we were uncertain about how much it would be, but we guessed. The discussion and the goal that you gave to me, the challenge that you gave to me, is that you wanted to reinvest, at least in the first couple of years that we knew that we would have the medical marijuana money, before the state expanded all of the licenses. How do we give that back to our community? And the first step, which Trustee Kubicki mentioned earlier, is that this fall, when we return to the residents for their favorite People's Choice program, the Waste and Recycling Levy, we are cutting the tax rate back 10 years to its 2012 level. And so there'll be more out about that, as David said. That takes up part of that $500,000, and then the balance of it we're putting into reinvesting in the neighborhoods directly. So we're proposing to the trustees tonight to authorize the first ever economic development program for our neighborhoods, where we will invest in the next 2 years in a pilot program up to $500,000 for the neighborhoods to select from a couple of major enhancement options that can be built in their neighborhood. And so we want to foster neighborhood engagement, build better partnerships with our neighborhoods, as well as have neighbors build better partnerships with each other through this initiative. And so I just wanted to tee it up, and then I'm going to turn it over to Dustin to go through kind of the specifics of it. But the value of this program is that instead of putting the money to another use, this trustee board heard the call of the residents that we've reached a point where we are able to really grow this community and go to the next level in terms of how our neighborhoods look. We're going to be investing more this year and in coming years than ever in roads and related improvements, including road drainage improvements and continued expansions, as Dustin has mentioned, by our businesses, continued ability to bring new businesses in, and how are we growing Columbia Township into a neighborhood that people recognize has great things going on, as well as attractive neighborhoods, and get that message out. And so that is what this evening's presentation is about, Neighborhood Economic Development Grant, NED for short. Did I cover everything, or do you want to?
No, I think it's good.
And we have just,
Yeah.
you go. Okay.
Here we go. Okay. So the program would invest up to $500,000 over the next 2 years as kind of a pilot for what this would look like. It's important to call out that this is in addition to all of the investment that's already being made in the infrastructure, the roads, the reduction of the levy. So this is above and beyond. There are going to be major enhancements that will incur in the 15 designated neighborhoods throughout the township. And these enhancements will be able to be voted on, which we'll talk about in a second. But this is also in addition to some other really exciting things that the township wanted to do, and that's helping our neighbors connect with our neighbors and Columbia Township. So just creating that continual connection with people in the township and businesses, and part of what facilitates that is a new dedicated website for each neighborhood, which is really exciting, especially in this digital age, and a party for each neighborhood at the future Madison Place Fire Event Center. So this is really cool because that's going to be a state-of-the-art new facility and really a nice treat for each of the neighborhoods to enjoy. Neighborhood choice. So the program has built into it a choice for the neighbors. There's going to be a voting mechanism that will be both online and over the phone, that can be phoned in to Columbia Township, that will allow residents to vote on 2 enhancement programs, designer street signs and neighborhood street signs. Both of these will enhance the community, whichever one would be selected in each individual neighborhood. So each individual neighborhood gets a tally by the residents, and that neighborhood can vote differently than a neighboring neighborhood.
So each neighborhood would vote on their own neighborhood, not on the entire community?
Correct.
Exactly.
Each household will vote.
So Ridgewood would say, this is what we want here, and somebody else could want something completely different in
Right.
Madison Place.
Absolutely.
Got it.
Yep. And we're hoping to get some direct mailer about that voting. Are looking for that around Labor Day. The designer street signs, this is just a picture that we put up there. That's one possibility what these might look like, but we're trying to go for something that's high quality, beautifully designed, so that it's a real enhancement to the streets.
And just so I can say, when we put designer street signs, somebody spearheaded that in Williams Meadow in our community. It's a much smaller neighborhood than maybe Madison Place and Ridgewood. It made a huge difference in terms of just the impact of having the routine fence post signs to this. So it's really a nice touch.
And then the other option that residents can vote on are the neighborhood street trees. And these are going to be coordinated with a professional arborist, so that things like schedule and installation and type of tree and location will all be professionally run through the arborist that would meet with each individual neighborhood, so that everything can be individualized to the individual community.
Love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Love it.
The other pieces are homeowners associations. Homeowners associations is an actual structure that will receive direct grants through this program, and they will be able to make we have designed an approved list of improvements that we did research nationally, we did research regionally on best practices for types of enhancement programs, beautification programs that neighborhoods and communities implement. And looking at those lists of improvements and beautification projects, we came up with a definitive list that the homeowner associations will be able to choose from based on these direct grants that they receive, that they will be able to implement within their own associations.
So just to be clear, people that don't have associations, you'll pick what you want, and Columbia Township will install them
Correct.
and pay the bill. And for the homeowners associations, you'll just get a check with an understanding that this is the buffet of list of what you're allowed to spend it on.
Yes, that is correct. For the homeowners associations, there will be a grant application that they will receive and have to sign through the Hamilton County CIC. And should they accept the application, then yes, they would receive a direct grant and check. And then everyone else is going to be voting. Residents will vote for their neighborhood enhancement.
Got it.
Is that the last one?
It is.
I'd like to close, before we open it to any questions from the trustees. I could not have done this project without the idea from the trustees, and it was hijacked by the pandemic a bit, but when we were able to resurrect it in 2021 with my workload, I could not put all of the effort into this that was necessary. It seems very simple, a couple of slides, but it's months of work because of the legal factor of being able to do direct grants to HOAs because they're a business entity. Well, we have 15 neighborhoods plus some outlying streets, and there are 6 HOAs. So we have the balance of those that we wanted them to feel that they were making the choice. And then, for example, when he mentioned the arborist, that we, the township, weren't going to be, you get this tree, you don't get that tree. We will let the arborist work within those neighborhoods that choose that option and determine what's the correct placement. And as you said before, when we put up a speed sign, some people are bring it on, some people are not by my house, not in my yard. People are the same way with street trees. For the street signs, we're going to be replacing all of the current galvanized standard township signs with these upgraded black fluted signs that have the street signs are framed, the stop signs are framed, and there's a finial on top, so really cool. And we'll be performing that as well with full coordination with the community.
In the community's vote.
In the community, yeah. Each household will be able to vote online. As he mentioned, we have a really cool, Dustin again led this. We looked at a number of different ways to do this, but each household gets to choose through an online system called SurveyMonkey. It's really popular software. Really easy, click, verify that they are at that address, and then there's a page for each neighborhood, and then the survey will tally all of the results, and then we will announce to the neighborhoods what their neighborhood voted for, and then what that rollout schedule will be. And part of settling on the street trees and the designer street signs was, as Dustin said, there's 20-something beautification and enhancement options that we looked at nationally, and we had been listening to, after I started as administrator, people tell us, we would like this, we would like that, when are you going to do this? And so that decision for these two came out of a lot of that. But we wanted to say again, this is on top of, we have millions and millions of dollars of planned other improvements that are part of our regular program through roadway improvements as well. Trustee Hughes had requested a couple of meetings ago that we do an assessment of sidewalks in Columbia Township. That would be part of a public works program, whatever comes out of that. So we don't want residents to, we'll be really careful with the messaging. We don't want residents, we want them to see this is an and on top of, this is the cherry on top, right, of what we're already doing, and this is just a kind of a people's choice piece. So again, a bold decision by the trustees to take a substantial amount of money from the budget, thanks to the wise decisions made to put economic development tools into place, and basically are taking that, what I view, if I were the marketing company, a stack of cash, and pushing it back to the residents in the form of the rate cut, tax rate cut on the waste and recycling levy, and in this really bold, really big neighborhood economic development grant.
Well, I'm going to say a couple words on this. Is one, incredible. It's incredible. I don't know how difficult it was to pull this off, and the help from all the staff, which is from Kim and Lauren.
John Cervisi
and
was
his team,
huge,
John Cervisi,
huge
and Dustin.
input.
And I've seen all the work that went behind this, but versus an idea to execution. Certainly Mike Lemon and his fiscal stewardship in the past administrations for some of the decisions made, but this is amazing.
Made it possible.
And this is what I call, it's like when you go redo your house, if you just redo your gutters and your roof, it's like that's boilerplate stuff, like redoing roads. As you said, it's the cherry on top. When you go put new landscaping, plant a new tree, I just think it just adds community pride.
Yes.
You know, get people more excited about their neighborhood. Maybe they don't sell their houses quick, and it adds the property values. Adds a sense of community involvement. It makes people, the whole image of Columbia Township rises, the image of being in a Columbia Net Township, it has so many derivative effects. And I think when people see this, it reminds me of, I don't name names of communities that did other JEDZs, and somebody says, we don't even have Santa Claus, we don't have light displays, are you kidding me? Well, how does this do something for me? So I think it really is a nice give back to the fans, which is our voters, to say, here you go. You know, from whether it's my community, Williams Meadow, where they want to do a new light display in front of their neighborhood to enhance the property values. People drive by and go, wow, the trees or you know, the signs. This is unbelievable, and I appreciate and respect and understand the hard and tedious work it took to do it. So, no, I mean that. I mean, because this is unusual. This is not something you can go look up and say, three other communities did it. That we are blazing new trails, and I just think it's unbelievable that we're able to do this. So, kudos. This is monumental. I don't even know what to say. So you guys go from here.
I love it. That's all I gotta say.
Great.
Short and sweet.
I'll add, and I do have a question.
This is a big deal. I didn't mean to go off too deep.
No.
This is
I agree.
a big deal.
I mean, the list of things here: dog park, community garden, gateway improvements, street lighting, sidewalks. I mean, that's just the tip
For
of
the
the iceberg.
HOAs.
I could go on for a lot longer. amazing. It'll really improve the neighborhood feel. And I love it that it's customized for each neighborhood because Madison Place, we have certain needs, and in Williams Meadow, you have different needs, and where Susan lives, different needs, and Ridgewood, different needs, and this is fantastic work. You mentioned it's a pilot. Pilot to me kind of assumes there might be more to come in the future. Is that what's after the 2-year
That's a great
program?
point.
That depends on, we wanted to do a 2-year program first because of the cost of the program.
Yeah.
We're spreading it across 2 years. But second, also the magnitude of delivering the program. We're doing a program basically community-wide. It is no small feat to make selections for street trees or install street trees. And even if everyone voted, or half of the neighborhoods voted for the designer,
Yeah.
they were decorative, and I think we were like amped it up to designer street signs. It's a large quantity to order. We've talked to suppliers, vendors in advance. Can you source this? When can you do the install? So that all factored into the program as well, and we could not expect that everyone could get everything done this fall, or staff to coordinate everything this fall with the firehouse and other really important projects going on. So we have big ideas, we have bold ideas, but they do take time, and we want to do them right.
Yep.
And so that's why we felt. So yes, to answer your question, because I wasn't answering it, this is a significant investment. $500,000 is 10% of our budget annually, and we couldn't commit to that every single year, and we can't commit to that type of staff-heavy lift with the very lean staff that we have. So we wanted to try it and then see how well it went, and then see what we hear from the neighborhoods,
Yeah.
and then regroup and decide it might be something that we do again in a similar way or in a different way, or take a
great.
different path.
Great work.
And I think it's important to note that some of this stuff wouldn't happen without the foresight and leadership of the trustees and the township administration to say yes to the marijuana dispensaries.
Yes.
And say, how can we, not only how can we get you into our community, but how can we work with you to give back by allowing you to come into our community?
You were there when that all happened, weren't you?
So I think that that's important, because a lot of communities were turning them away and saying, no, not in my backyard. And Columbia Township turned it around and found a way to create a partnership that is benefiting not only the businesses, the township, the residents.
Great point.
And the well-being of people too. I mean, the people that need that stuff, so.
Yes, it is.
And-
Creative issue.
Yeah.
Correct, we have not had a problem going down there.
Great point, Caroline, great point.
Yeah, we have just a couple of squad runs for medical issues, which is
Yeah.
of course why the folks are there anyway, because they have medical issues. So
Yeah.
Other than that, any criminal activity, it's non-existent.
That's
And
great.
that was the whisper at the beginning, and you thought,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Right.
So thanks, Dustin, for
Yeah,
recognizing
for
that.
saying that.
And maybe we can get another one down there too.
Yes, there we go. All right.
All right, so I'd
now in
like
the spirit
to
of time, we'll talk about
call
it
for, so I have, you've heard the first reading. May I have a motion and a second to dispense with the second reading and to pass the resolution?
So moved.
I'll second. Roll call.
Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Mr. Kubicki?
Yes.
Ms. Hughes?
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Thank you. This is a big day for Columbia Township.
Huge day.
Huge.
Huge day. People, when they see this happen, it's going to be really exciting.
Yes.
All right, final resolution of the day to wrap up. Designating the north side of Hillendale Drive from Kennedy Avenue to the terminus of Hillendale Drive to be a no parking fire lane area and prohibiting parking therein. No vote on this. This is a first reading. After reconstruction of Hillendale Drive, which included drainage system with curbs, there is it was known as part of the design, but there's insufficient room. If there are vehicles parked on both the north and south side of Hillendale, there's insufficient room for a fire or police vehicle to get through. And so John Cervisi, our road and services superintendent, consulted both with Lieutenant Enderle and also Acting Chief Terry Chimmers. Goodness.
Chair.
Acting Chief Terry Chimmers, my apologies. Long day. For their recommendation, and we are asking the trustees to allow us to authorize that we restrict vehicles parking on the north side, which is the fire lane. It also impacts our snow removal vehicles, we cannot get through this. So it's a gorgeous road, very expensive project, and this will be the final piece of making that look great, but also be safe. So this is the first reading. We're going to notify residents and provide them 30 days for feedback, and then bring this back to you in August for a vote.
Okay, all right, thanks. All right, I make a motion to approve the payment of bills, bank reconciliation, financial reports. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Good luck with that one. Yes.
Mr. Kubicki?
Yes.
Ms. Hughes?
Yes.
And I make a motion to sign the minutes and resolutions. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Mr. Kubicki?
Yes.
Ms. Hughes?
Yes.
And I'm going to make one more comment here. This is a huge meeting, huge thing. Makes me proud to live in Columbia Township, and our stocks are rising. This is huge. I'm dead serious. I think we're going to be the envy of a lot of people.
We already
Look
are.
at all they're doing, and I just think our brand is continuing to shine. So, and that goes as a tribute to all our predecessors, Mike Lemon, Steve Langenkamp, all the people that came
Chris
before
Kubicki.
us, all these guys that had a hand in this. So,
Chris Kubicki.
and then all the dynamic leadership of the new administration, Dustin, Kim, Lauren, John, everybody. So this is amazing. So truly a huge day. I'm proud. Thank you, and I make a motion that we adjourn. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Mr. Kubicki?
Yes.
Ms. Hughes?
Yes.